You, sir.
Alhamdulillah, jazakumullah khair. Okay, welcome to the Arabic classes for understanding the Quran. And we are having 5 brothers here, mashallah, and 1 sister online. I'm recording the class for those who couldn't make it today. And the last thing we did was the sun letters and the moon letters, remember? And you had the homework of finding 28 examples. Alhamdulillah. So let's see what Brother Osama sent us of your homework. Bismillah. Sun words and moon words. This is whose homework is this?
Name is not there.
Yeah, I thought it was Hillary, but I found this is the company.
Are you?
Okay, inshallah. The unknown man. التوبة, that's correct. الثمرات. الثمرات, okay. الدين، الذكر، الرحمن، الزكاة، السماء، الشمس، الصبر، الضالين، الطارق، الظالمين، الليل، النار. ما شاء الله, all of them are correct. Then we have الأرض. What is this? بيت. البيت، الجنة، الحق، الخبير، العالمين، الغاشية، الفجر، القارعة، الكتاب، المالك، الهدى، الواحد، اليوم. ما شاء الله, very good examples. All of them are correct. Let's see here. Sheikh Abdul Nasir, ما شاء الله. We have here قمرية, الفلق، الوسواس، الخناس، الجنة، الكوثر، الأبتر، الكافرون، الفيل. What is this?
العصر.
والعصر. Okay. الإنسان، الحطمة، الموقدة، القارعة، الخير. Okay, ما شاء الله. And you're putting
I tried to.
the sukun. You're putting the sukun, but you're making it like a cab letter. It is to the side.
On the school side, okay.
Mhm.
In our part in South Asia,
Okay.
it is like that.
Yeah, so it, yeah.
Quranic text. Quranic, yeah.
Okay, so you're right. الناس، النفاثات.
النفاثات.
Yeah, okay. الشر، الصمد، الدين، التكاثر، الصلاة، الزكاة، الصالحات، الروح، الرجعاء، التقوى، الناصية. And this is الشتاء. الشتاء والصيف too. So الصيف also. But you got already as صمد. Okay, mentioned. Then we have, let's see these pages. Maybe these are done. Okay, so it seems there is a problem with this file.
The compatibility.
Compatible issue. It says pages. This is the Mac app for words, for Word. So it should open, but yeah, inshallah, let's see. Shamsiya. And this is Sister Arij. الرحمن، الشمس، النجم، السماء، اللؤلؤ، الثقلان، الدهان، التي، الطرف، الذين، الضالين، الظالمين، الزكاة، الصبر. ماريا القرآن الإنسان البيان الميزان الوزن الحب العصف الجان الياقوت الخيام بالغيب بالهدى بالكافرين الفرقان. ما شاء الله. All are great. Get HDMI cable here. We have more. التقوى الثمرات الدين الرقيم الزكاة السفينة الشراب الصالحات. Seems like they didn't find an example for that. Yeah, الذكر. Yeah,
Zikr is in the book, that is right.
Yeah, الذكر. الذين not الذين الذكر and الذاريات for example الذاريات. الأنعام البحرين الجبال الحق الخنزير العذاب الغيظ الفتية الكهف. ما شاء الله. Very good job. Still more. الضحى الطيبات الظالمين اللطيف النار القيامة المدينة الهدى. This has to be ضمة on the هاء. الوجوه اليوم. Okay, ما شاء الله. Okay, ما شاء الله. This is very good work that you did. ما شاء الله عليك. Sister Rizwana, did you send any homework?
No, I was not available for the last 2 weeks. I actually missed classes and I didn't catch.
So
not
it is recorded. Inshallah, you can have a look at that.
Inshallah.
So we looked at the Shams and the Qamar letters, the moon and the sun letters that come after Al, because the whole class was indefiniteness. How to mark that the word is definite. And we said that in Arabic, like 80% of changing words to become definite will become through adding al. But there are other stuff, other things that we looked at, including, let me see where is the presentation that we.
I just have a question before I go there.
Mhm.
The homework I saw, some of the words start with duha, for example, yeah.
Mhm.
Can we not say ad-duha because this is supposed to be al and not wa, you know?
Yeah, the wow, in fact, helps you to drop the lam.
Oh, okay.
So whether you pronounce it with the lam or with the wow or without the wow, you will still drop the lam. So say wadduha. So saying wadduha, you drop the alif and the lam. And if without the wow, you say ad-duha, so you drop the lam. So the lam is dropped anyway. But having wa at the beginning will make you drop both the alif and the lam. Okay, so we say when we say wadduha, so nothing is left. When we say wal asr, the alif is dropped. Okay, because of the waw before them. If you say al asr only, you pronounce both of them, because once you start, you have to pronounce the alif, and the lam is moon here, so it has to be pronounced.
Sheikh, I had a
Yeah.
question. So
Yes.
the wa is not from and. It's not wa and.
It is wow with meaning and, but I mean, because in connected speech, you're connecting, so you drop the alif, because it is alif sila, which means that it has got a small sad above it, and this small sad means that pronounce it only when you start. But if it is in connected speech, don't pronounce it. You can see it. Let's have a look at how it looks like. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So for example, here. Surah, where is الضحى? Okay. الشمس ليل الضحى. So look at الضحى. you'll find that above the waw there is a fatha, so we pronounce wa. Then for the alif there is this small sad, which means that this can be pronounced and cannot be pronounced. If it is in connected speech, do not pronounce it, drop it. If you start with it, pronounce it. So here, if you start with wa and complete, you have to drop this. And the lam has nothing around it, which means that it is always dropped. And the dad has got a shadda in order to compensate for the missing lam in the pronunciation. So we say wad, wadduha. If we keep the waw away, we will say a, ad-duha. So the same thing, the lam is still dropped, but we pronounce the alif. For al-asr, things are different, a bit different. So for al-asr,
3.
yes. The same alif has got this sad, which means drop it if you connect. Drop it if you connect. So we say wa, and then we go directly to the lam. Wal, asr. And the lam is not dropped because it is a moon letter that is following it. So this alif is dropped because of connection. Now, if we do not pronounce the waw, we have to pronounce the alif because we start with it. And we have to pronounce the lam because it is always pronounced. It is not dropped. So we say al-asr, al-asr. Now, with the waw, we say wal. We do not say wa al-asr. We do not say wa al-asr. We say wal asr. That's why, subhanallah, this marker, which is a small sad, means that this is an alif sila, and this is only on the alif. You will not find this marker on any other letter, and the alif that has got this never has a hamza on it. Okay, so, any other questions before we move on?
No, I think I understand.
Ayhan, do you have questions? Good. Alhamdulillah. Right. So we looked at 4 characteristics of words. We always say for agreement, we have to look for these 4, right? What were the 4? Can you remember when we said in order to maintain agreement, we have to look at these 4? So we said that an adjective will agree with the noun in 4 things. And it has to be 100% agreement, right? Gender, okay. Number, case, and what is the 4th?
Gender, number, case.
And the one we just finished, definiteness. Okay?
Yeah.
So whether it is definite or not. So let's write them again. Gender, number, case, definiteness. Gender meaning male or female. Right? And the marker here is easy. What is the marker? What makes us know that this word is male or female? Ta marbuta. Only a ta marbuta. So if you have the ta marbuta, then this is female. No ta marbuta, not female. Okay. Number means whether the word is singular, dual, or plural. Okay. And we had some markers for each one of these, and we said we will study these in details. Today we'll do, inshallah. For the case, we said it can be nominative, it can be accusative, it can be genitive. And we said that the marker for the nominative is to have a dhamma above the letter. having a dhamma. The marker for the accusative is to have fatha. The marker for the genitive is to have kasra. So if the noun has got a dhamma, the adjective must have a dhamma, and a fatha and a kasra will be the same. Definiteness, this means whether something is definite or indefinite, right? And we said that the biggest marker for definiteness is al, having al. The noun has got al, the adjective must have al. These are the 4 areas of agreement. 4 areas of agreement. And we said that if any one of them is missing, not applying, so this is not a noun and an adjective. We do not have a case of a noun and adjective. We can have other things. And mostly what we have is a full sentence, because a noun and an adjective is not a full sentence. We give these examples. So if I say, Al-Medina.
Sheikh, would you be able to share your screen if you're writing on your screen?
I didn't share the screen. I thought that I was sharing it. So this is the example. Say Al-Medina Al-Jamila. And then I say Al-Medina Jamila. So we make our test. So we say Al-Medina. Is this male or female?
Female.
Female. We have the marker, which is the ta marbuta. Okay. Now look at the word next to it. Does it have a ta marbuta? Yes. So this is 25% agreement. Okay. Second, Medina. Does it have al or not? Does. So we have
Yes,
al
it
here,
does.
which is definiteness. And al-Jamila, it does. So we have 50% agreement. Now, is it singular or plural or dual? It's singular. And this is also singular. We'll see why it is not dual or plural today, inshallah. And then I say al-Madinatu al-Jamilatu. So what about case? Both have what? Dhamma. So nominative, both of them are nominative. Do we have 100%? Yes, we have. So if we have 100%, we make 3 dots, which means that this is not a complete sentence. We still need something to complete the meaning. It means, what is the translation of Al-Madina Al-Jamila?
Beautiful.
The beautiful city. The beautiful city. Now look at the next one. We have al, right? So we have definiteness here. Do we have al here?
No.
Okay, so we have one area that did not agree. We don't need to look for the others. If we have one is missing, so it is not complete agreement. If it is not complete agreement, so this is not a noun and adjective. So it is a sentence. Al-Madinatu Jamilatun, which means the city is beautiful. Now this is a complete sentence. Al-Madinatu Jamilatun, the city is beautiful. Why did we add is? Because this is the English way of making full sentences of sentences that are descriptive. In any language, your sentence can refer to a description or an action. If you say I drink, this is an action. If you say I'm good, this is no action. I'm just describing myself. So for description, English uses verb to be. I am good. He is fine. He is Canadian. All of these are descriptions. Verb to be. In Arabic, they do not need verb to be. They just place the words next to each other, and one thing is not an agreement. Then this is a false sentence. And the one thing that is not an agreement is normally the definiteness. Okay. So the areas that we spoke about that has got to be 100% of agreement are these. We looked at the male and the female in the first class, words that are male and words that are female. We looked at the cases, words that are accusative, genitive, and nominative. And we looked at the definiteness, and with L, we spoke about the moon letters and the sun letters. And all the examples and all the words that we have taken till now are singular. Today, we look more into number. And for number, we will look at first the dual. So we will not go to the plural, but only the dual today. Okay. So the book gives the dual and the plural in one lesson, but we will have only the dual today because we will speak more about it. So the dual in Arabic has got two markers, in fact, not just one marker, but two markers. The two markers are the following. So if you have one singular noun like Muslim, someone is a Muslim. Is this male or female? Male. Okay,
Male.
good. In order to make it two Muslims, two male Muslims, you add alif and nun. Musliman. So we added alif and nun at the end. So Arabs do not say two Muslims. They do not use the word two. They do not use the word two simply because they have the an, which means two. So whenever we have like one word and would like to make it two, we do not use the word two, we just add an. So we have Muslim and Musliman. Now Talib, what do we have? Yes, that's it.
Taliban.
Yeah, the Taliban in Afghanistan was established by two students who were studying in the Islamic University in Medina. So they call it Taliban because of two students. Taliban. Okay. But we are good now. So think of other words that are singular male. Okay. So we have the word maktab, which is, yeah, it's an office.
Yeah.
Maktab, yeah. And so two offices would be ktaban.
Maktaba.
Okay. Good.
Muhandis, muhandisan, does that work?
Yeah, muhandis, muhandisan, mashallah. Okay. Bahr, what's bahr?
Bahr means
The water itself, not the beach.
ocean.
Yeah, the sea.
Ocean.
Yeah.
The sea.
So the two seas would be Bahrain.
Bahrain.
Okay, so we keep still alif and nun. Okay, Bahrain. Maraja, Bahraini yaltaqiyan. Okay. So this works all the time. Now this alif and nun, the nun has got a kasra. Always, the nun has got a kasra. So this alif and nun, when we pronounce it fully, we say Muslimani, Talibani, Maktabani, Muhandisani, Bahrani. Okay? Always with alif and nun. With alif and nun, and the nun has got a kasra. Now, if the word is female, so we have Muslima. Not Muslim, but Muslima. What happens if we would like to make it two female Muslims? That's right. We add the alif and nun, but we have a problem because this word ends with the ta marbuta. We cannot make it like this and then add it like this. So this ta has not to be marbuta. Because marbuta is in the final position only. Now it is not the final position, so we have to make it a normal ta. If we make it a normal ta, so we pronounce it. For Muslim, yeah, for Muslima, we did not pronounce it when we stop. We didn't say Muslimat, we say Muslima. Now here we must pronounce it, so it becomes muslimatan. So this is one thing that happens for the female, muslimatani.
Sheikh, question.
Yes,
What's the difference between Musliman and Muslimatan? I mean, not the dual form, but just Musliman. Is that two Muslims also?
two male Muslims.
Muslims. Okay.
Yeah.
So the moment it is, we have a Tamir Buta, it becomes Muslimatan.
Muslimatan. So
Got it.
we say, for example, these are two male Muslims and these are two female Muslims. So in Arabic, we do not have to pronounce the word male and the word female. And you do not have to add the word two. So you see, you don't have to add the word two because you have alif and nun. And you do not have to pronounce the word male and female because you have the ta marbuta. In English, we do this because, I mean, we are limited in the tools that we're having in English to express this, Muslimatan. That's why one word in the Quran can be translated into a long sentence in English, because if each part of it has got like is not represented in the same way in English. Muslimatani. Now, if it is one student, like talibah, what would be the dual?
Talibatan.
Talibatani. Yes.
Talibatani.
Okay. If it is a library, maktabah. Not an office, but a library. That's right, maktabatani. 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 If it is a female muhandis, so muhandisa becomes
Muhandisatani.
tani. That's right, muhandisatani. Okay.
All in the cup?
All the way.
Oh.
All the way, the alif and nun, the nun will have a kasr. Regardless of the case, regardless of its place in the sentence, the nun will have a kasr. And when we pronounce, then now we stop, so we do not pronounce the kasra. But when it comes in the sentence, we'll see that the nun has got a kasra. So, in fact, this also applies to verbs. We will not study verbs in this level, but even with verbs that are that refer to two doers, it will have this kasra. So فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. This is in Surah Ar-Rahman, repeated, تكذبان, which means, so in which of the bounties of your Lord do you two, the ins and the jinn, deny?
Oh, yeah.
Okay? So
That's beautiful.
so the ayah is speaking to the ins and the jinn all the time. Why do you deny my bounties? You too, the ins and the jinn, the ins and the jinn. And that's why when the surah was revealed, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam looked at the Sahaba and said, why are you silent? He said, what should we say? He said, your brothers, the jinn, whenever I say, فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ, they respond and say, we do not deny any of them. We accept all of them. So why are you silent? Because this is a question. So which of the bounties of your Lord do you deny? This is a question. So he said the jinn seem to understand Arabic better than you. So they are responding.
مرج البحرين يلتقيان.
Yeah, we'll come to this, inshallah.
مسلمين.
Yes,
What
yeah,
does
yeah, we will come to this. So just taking it step by step. Yes, yeah, yeah.
So you will always undo that with an alif and a nun.
Yes.
That's
That's
like a dual.
Yeah, that's it. That's the marker for the dual. If you find a word that ends with alif and noon, and then if you drop the alif and noon and it has a full meaning by itself, then this is a dual. So for example, Muslimani, if you remove the alif and noon, you are left with Muslim, which gives a meaning. So this is a dual. So why I say that when you drop these, it gives a meaning, because sometimes you will have a word that ends with alif and noon, but the alif and noon are part of the word. You cannot remove that. One example is the name Uthman. Uthman ends in alif and noon.
Done.
But if you remove it, you're left with nothing. Asim doesn't mean anything. So this is not dual. This is just one person. His name is Uthman. Okay.
But what
Second
about
thing,
the word insan?
what is that?
The word insan.
Insan. Yeah, the word insan is the same thing. Alaykum assalam wa barakatuh. So it doesn't mean two. It is just part of the word. Rahman, the name of Allah, doesn't mean two. It is part of the word. Hmm? Yeah, Rahim and Rahma is a word, but I mean, this is now another derivation that is known in Arabic as Sighat al-Mubalagha, which is a form of exaggeration of the bounty or of the description of the adjective that is used. So not all alif and nun at the end mean dual, but most of the time. Okay. This is similar to the English. Yeah, let's have this in English. So if you have a word like teacher that ends with ER, so you can drop the ER and you still have the verb to teach. So we know that teach is a verb and teacher is the noun derived from the verb. So we have teach, teacher, run, runner, write, writer. But what about river? It ends in ER. But if you drop the ER, you're left with nothing. You cannot remove it. It is part of the word. So it doesn't mean that any word that ends in ER refers to a noun derived from the verb. No, it doesn't have to be. But this is like a marker that can help you. Now you remember that we talked about case. And in case, we said that there is nominative, accusative, and genitive. And we said that the marker for the nominative is the dhamma. So we say muslimatun or muslimun. Muslimun with two dhammas. Muslimun with two dhammas. This is nominative. It is in the place in the sentence which is a place of a subject. And then we said Musliman with two fathas, which is in a place of an object, of a direct object. And Muslimin with two kasras, which is in a place of indirect object, which is genitive. Okay. Now for the dual, the cases are different markers. So the fatha, the dhamma, and the kasra are the default markers for the singular. Now for the dual, things are quite different. In the dual, they tell you that if the word is nominative, then just use alif and nun at the end of the word, alif and nun. Okay. If it is not nominative, which means if it is genitive or accusative, that use one ending for both of them, which is ya nun. This means that all of these examples that we have mentioned are only the nominative. So Muslimani, this is nominative. Talibani, this is nominative. But we can get the accusative and the genitive from them. So rather than Muslimani, we can have Muslimaini. Rather than Talibani, we can have Talibaini. Maktabani, yeah, Muhandisani. Muhandisaini. And you see the noon is always kasra. Even once you change it alif noon or ya noon, the noon is with a kasra. Bahrani. Bahraini. Muslimatani. Muslimataini. Talibatani. Maktabatani. Muhandisatani. Muhandisataini. So it is the same thing, but the different ending because of the case. because of its place in the sentence. So now we understand مرج البحرين. Maraja, he mixed what? The two C's. The two C's are object. Because it is in the object position, it has to have a yanu. So we cannot say al-Bahran, but we say al-Bahraini. Al-Bahraini.
Merge in English is also close to.
Maraj. Maraj and merge. Yeah, subhanAllah. And
Sheikh, could you
yes,
please
go.
explain to me what, okay, because I never learned English grammar, I immersed. So I don't know what a case is. I think you mentioned it earlier, but I lost track of what is a case in English grammar?
Yes, what's a case in English grammar? We will keep referring to this because this is all about Arabic grammar. The case is a very big thing in Arabic grammar, and subhanAllah, in English, it is not even mentioned. English used to have cases, but it kind of got rid of it. So if I say, I met him. So who did the act? So who, the first person, I did. And who was met? Him.
Him.
Can I say I met he? So English does not accept saying I met he. So why? I mean, he refers to a man and him refers to a man. So why do we use him and not he? They call this object. This is in the object position. This is the patient. This is not the doer. This is the affected part. So this case, they call it the object position. Okay. And in grammatical terms, they call it accusative. This is in the accusative position. The word him is in the accusative position. The word I is in the nominative position, which is this is the doer. So nominative is the doer. And him is the accusative, the affected. Now, what happens if I gave the book to him? Here we have three entities. I and the book and the person he. The verb is gave. So we have three things. We said that I is the doer, the one who did it. So this is nominative.
The book
And
is the indirect object.
In fact, the book is the direct object.
Direct object, okay.
Yeah. And him is the indirect object. Why is that? Because the proposition comes before it. We have a proposition coming before it. So this proposition makes it indirect.
So accusative is for the indirect object and genitive is for the direct object. Is
accusative is for the direct object.
Oh, okay.
And genitive is for the indirect object.
Got it. Okay, sorry, yes, I understand now.
No problem at all. So the problem with English is that I'm using pronouns here. Okay, I cannot say me met him. I cannot say me gave the book to he. This is not acceptable. But if you use names, then this will be acceptable. If I say Alex gave the book to Alan. So I don't see that Alan is accusative. I can't, I mean, you do not have any marker that tells you that Alan is the person who received it. And you do not have any marker that Alex is the person who did it. These are just names. If you keep Alan in place of Alex, both will work. But if you take him in place of I, it will not work. If you say him gave the book to I, it doesn't work in English. If you move I from its position and place it in place of him, it has to change into me. If you change him from its position and place it in place of I, it has to be he. He gave the book to me. This works. So these changes are the very few remainants of case in English. In the Arabic language, every word has got its case very clearly. simply because of the dhamma, the fatha, the kasra. Any word that has got a dhamma, a fatha, a kasra tells us about its case. So once we see the dhamma, we know that this is nominative. Once we see the fatha, we know that this is accusative. This is the object, direct object. Once we see the kasra, we know that this is the indirect object. And that's why we have free word order. We do not have to take fixed word order. The man went to the school. You cannot say the school to the man went. But in Arabic, you can. Why can you in Arabic? Because the man will carry its case whenever it is, at the beginning, in the middle, at the end. And the school will carry its case whenever it is. So this will be accepted in Arabic. And this is the beauty of the Quran, that now we do not care about the case because we have the Dhamma, the Fatha, and the Kasra. Let's have a higher level of focus, which is why did you choose to get one word in place of another word? What is the importance of having this in place of this? Okay? So this is like, in short, the meaning of case. I hope this is clear, Sister Ridwana.
Yes, honestly, this is where I kept getting stuck at for all the levels because I never learned English grammar. So this is very helpful. Thank you so much.
Alhamdulillah, you're welcome. You're welcome. As I said, English used to have these markers, and French is still having them. For the male, for the female, the endings, the suffixes, or sometimes the doer. But English, because of many reasons for development, historical development, it stopped having them. Only on the level of the pronouns we have these or limit. And not all the pronouns. For example, the word you are my friend. Am I talking to a male or a female? Am I taking to one or two or three? So all can work. This is not specific. They say you are right. Who is right? One person or more than one person, a male or female. But in Arabic, you have to make it very specific. Okay? We were struggling in the Arab world, especially when students would say, you is my friend. I would say, no, you have to say you are. Yeah, but I'm talking about one person. Yeah, still you have to say are. So Arabic grammar says that you can have an, any, which is the marker for the dual nominative, and aini, which is the marker for the dual accusative and genitive. Let's have a look at Surah Al-Rahman, which has got most of the talking about two things. Or let's say, Alam naj'al lahu. Who can complete the ayah? Aynain. Which surah this? Naba? Yes. ألم نجعل له عينين ولسانا وشفتين وهديناه النجدين. البلد. That's right, mashallah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here is talking about the human being. He said, لَقَدْ خَلَقَنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي كَبَدٍ. We created humankind. The word insan means man. Fi kabad, in a struggle. And then he says, أَلَمْ نَجْعَلْ لَهُ عَيْنَيْنِ. أَلَمْ نَجْعَلْ لَهُ عَيْنَيْنِ. Didn't we make for him two eyes? So عَيْنَيْنِ. If you remove the ya nun, you're left with ayn. And ayn is one eye. So you made for him two eyes. Where is the word two here? We do not have the word two. We do not have the word ithnan. It is enough to have the ya nun at the end of the word. Aynayni. So why is it aynayni and not aynani? It is, yeah. accusative, because this is the object. Allah says, I made for him two eyes. So the two eyes are the thing made, are the objective. أَلَمْ نَجْعَلْ لَهُ عَيْنَيْنِ. So we made for him two eyes. عَيْنَيْنِ. And look at the noon, it is always having a kasra. And the ya is always having a sukun. If it is a ya noon, so it will always have a sukun. So it will not be عَيْنِينَ. No, it will be عَيْنَيْنِ. And this is important to know, because when we come to the plural, we'll find another ya noon, but it have a different pronunciation. So it is very
So
important
Sheikh,
to know.
to summarize, it's Ainaini because it's two eyes for him. It's
Mhm.
on, that's why. So it's one that Ainaini is explaining two things. It's two eyes, but also two eyes that were created for him.
Yeah. So have we not given them, like the human beings, two eyes?
Mhm.
So the verb give,
Given, yeah.
yeah, the verb give will have two objects. I cannot say I gave the book and stop. You gave the book to whom? You have to tell us you gave the book to whom. And you cannot say I gave him. Give him what? You have to tell us what you give him. So you need two objects for the verb give. So Allah says we gave him or them two eyes. So them is accusative, and two eyes are also accusative. Gave them two eyes. But in the Arabic language, we have the word lahu, which means for him. So we know that this is indirect. Why is that? Because this lam is a proposition, which is for him. The English translation did not show the proposition. So it should be, we haven't given to them two eyes, or given two eyes for them. عينين. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلِسَانًا, which is a tongue. Lisanan, and it has got a fatha, because it is still accusative. We gave him two eyes and a tongue. So the tongue is conjugated with linked to the two eyes. وَشَفَتَيْن. So even without knowing what is shafatain means, is it singular or dual? It is dual. Okay.
Sheikh,
you
sorry to bother
remove-
again, but
Yes,
why isn't it Lisaini why isn't it matching with the rest of them? Why is it Lisana?
because this wow means and. Okay, so we are completing the sentence. He says, didn't I make for him two eyes and a tongue? Which means, and didn't I make for him a tongue? And. Okay, so and. In fact, this ayah, أَلَمْ نَجْعَلْ لَهُ عَيْنَيْنِ وَلِسَانًا وَشَفَتَيْنِ وَهَدَيْنَاهُ النَّجْدَيْنِ. All of them are just one sentence, and we are linking one sentence to the other with wa.
Because and it's also singular. Okay, I get it.
Yeah, the word lisan is singular, so you return to the default markers for the accusative, the nominative, and the genitive. And the default markers are the fatha, the dhamma, the kasra. So here we go to the fathas. Two fathas, lisanan. Now shafataini, two lips. Give him two lips. Remember when we said that every part that exists in pairs in your body is what? Female. So one ayn doesn't have a ta marbuta, but it is female. Okay. One udhun doesn't have a ta marbuta, but it is female. Now the word shafa, one lip, is female and it has a ta marbuta. Shafat. And so shafat would become shafatani, and in the accusative it would become shafataini. So let's write this here. So the word shafa. Shafatun. This means one lip. Shafa. One lip. Just like muslima, when we add the alif noon, this ta marbuta has to be ta maftuha. So this becomes shafatani. And because it is in the object position, we use the ya nun. Shafatayni. So shafatayni. Shafatayni. While the word ayn didn't have a ta marbuta. It is female, but it didn't have a ta marbuta. Ayn. And then we add alif and nun. Aynani. If it is accusative, it becomes aynayni. Aynayni. And it is still female. Even after it is dual, it is still female. We do not have a marker for female here. Yeah, it is inherently female. It is one of the exceptions of the words that are exceptions that we studied.
What's the change for the genitive case?
For the genitive, it is the same as yan. It is the same thing.
How can I tell it apart?
If there is a proposition. If there is a proposition, you will have the same ending ain, but you will know that this is genitive because of the proposition. Okay? We will give, inshallah, another example for this. So, shafatayni. Then, وَهَدَيْنَاهُ النَّجْدَيْنِ. Najd. Najd means path. One path is Najd. And Najdani, two paths. Najdaini, two paths in the accusative. So we guided him to the two paths, what is right and what's wrong, what is evil and what's good. Okay, so this is one example. So we have seen the word aynaini, which means two eyes, right? The word ayn in Arabic has got the meaning of eye, which is the eye in your face, but it can also refer to a spring of water. Spring of water is also called ayn. It's called ayn. So now let's look at Surah Al-Rahman, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Aynani. فيهما عينان تجريان. So in Surah Al-Rahman, especially near to the end, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us about two Jannahs. وَلِمَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ جَنَّتَانِ. So the word جَنَّتَانِ, two gardens. Two gardens. So what is the singular? Jannah. Jannah with a ta marbuta. Jannatani. This is two gardens. And it is in what case?
Nominative.
Nominative. Alif and Nun. Remember, Alif and Nun is nominative. Other than that, Ya and Nun. Okay, so dual will have two markers only. One for the nominative and one for anything else. Jannatani. And the translation is, two gardens are for those who fear Allah. So this is a description. Are, verb to be. That's why it is like a subject to the verb. If it is the subject to the verb, why did it come at the very end? Because we don't need to stick to a word order. It has got its marker with it. So whether it is at the beginning, in the middle, or the end, we know that it is the mubtada. This is the subject. Okay.
Is the second ayn feminine?
Yeah,
Both of them?
yeah. All the time, ayn is feminine. So we looked at Jannah. Okay, now aynan is coming here. فيهما عينان, two springs. So we have seen عينين, and here we have عينان. عينان, two springs of water. And it is nominative. Yes, it is nominative. That's right. The word ayn is always feminine.
Spring also?
Hmm?
Spring also?
Yeah, all the meanings. Because it is something in the word itself, not in the meaning. We said that words are male or female because of how they look, not because of its meaning. So if it has a ta marbuta, it is female, no matter what meaning it carries. Now here the word جنتين. وجنى الجنتين دان. جنتين. So we have the ya and nun here at the end, which means that this is now in the accusative or the genitive position with the ya nun. Then we have two other, yes, this word, for example, al-marjan. The word marjan, is it dual? No.
Oh, okay, yeah, if you take it away, it says.
Yeah.
But it still worked.
Yeah. So we have two things here to look for. First, if we drop the alif nun, do we have a word that has got a full meaning like marj? No, it is not. Second, we always said that the nun will always have a kasra. The nun does not change, always have a kasra. No matter where it is, the nun has got a kasra. If you have here a nun without a kasra, this is not dual. It is al-marjanu, so this is not dual. It has to be a kasra for the nun all the way. مهندسان, مهندسين, بحران, بحرين, عينان, عينين, all the time. So this means that coral, and coral is not here dual.
So in this case, two things have to happen. It has to be kasara, or when you remove the addition.
You will have a singular that has got a meaning.
Yeah, have to have meaning, otherwise
Yes.
it's not.
Yes. Yes.
What's the dual of al-marjan?
That's a good question. What is the dual of al-marjan? Marjan is a collective noun, which means that it refers to the jins or the species. Okay, so we have first to get the singular of it. So it is not singular, it is not dual, it is not plural. It's called a collective noun. Collective noun, which one noun that is singular but means a group of things. Okay, so the singular of it would be marjana. Marjana, one choral piece, and it ends with a ta marbuta. So this changes into what? Marjanatani. Marjanatani. The same thing is for Rumman. Rumman is the pomegranate. Pomegranate is Rumman, but this is also a name of a species or a type of thing. So we need one piece. One piece is Rummana. Mana. So the dual will be Rummanatani. What happens if it is male? Like if I have two people called Othman. So I know that Othman is one person, but two students' names, both of them are Othman. So I would like to make fun and say, Ja'a came the two Othmans. So Othmanani.
Oh,
Although this is not like the way that Arabs would use it, they would say two students named Othman came. They will not say Othmanani. They will not say Muhammadani. For example, two Muhammads came. They will say two people named Muhammad came. Othmanani. Okay. The crossroads, when there is a railway and then there is a crossing, this is called in Arabic mazlaqan. And this is singular. Mazlaqan. So if you would like to say that I pass by two of these, you say mazlaqa Nani. And in fact, in the Quran, we have an example of this, not of this word, but of having a word that has got alif and noon, and then it is dual by another alif and noon. We have the word burhan. Burhan means what? Okay. Yeah, almost there. So burhan means a proof. When Sayyidina Musa was given the snake and the hand, so the stick that changes into a snake, and the hand, when he places it on his chest, gets up was light. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to him, Burhanani. These are two proofs. So two proofs. Burhanani. Let's say, where is Burhanani in the Quran? Is in Surah Al-Qasas. In Surah Al-Qasas, ayah number 32. Okay, 32. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to Sayyidina Musa, أسلك يدك في جيبك تخرج بيضاء من غير سوء. Now put your hand through the opening of your cooler, it will come out shining without a white, unblemished. This is one thing. وَاضْمُمْ إِلَيْكَ جَنَاحَكَ مِنَ الرَّهْبِ, and cross your arms tightly to calm your fears. These are two things. فَذَانِكَ, these two, burhanani. If you remove the alif and noon, you are left with burhan, which is a word that ends with an alif and noon, but singular, which means evidence. These are two proofs, two evidences. Burhanani, two. Where is the word two in Arabic? The alif and noon. But we are still left with another alif and noon because this is part of the word. برهانان من ربك إلى فرعون وملئه إنهم كانوا قوما فاسقين. برهانان. Okay, Jazakumullah khair for asking the question. One other thing that we look at before we have a break is the word Muslim again. Muslim. So we said that Muslim is singular male, right? The dual is what? Okay, Muslimani. What is the dual accusative?
Muslimain.
Okay. Now, we know that the plural of Muslim is Muslimuna and Muslimina. Okay. Inshallah, when we come to the plural, we'll explain this in more details. But we need now to focus on what is the difference between this and this, because they look identical. That's it. So, Muslimaini, this one is Muslimina. That's why I always say the noon has got a kasra. The noon has got a kasra. Always remember this. Because if it does not have a kasra, it is not a dual. Muslimaini, and the ya has got a sukun. Now this one, Muslimina, the ya is a long vowel, doesn't have any haraka, and the noon has got a fatha. And
Second.
all the parts of the word has got a haraka. So muslima, muslimaini.
The second was a fatwa.
The same. Okay, let's have it.
Muslimuna.
Mus-
Muslimain. Muslimina.
mhm. Li mi Muslimin.
The opposite color from both of them.
Well, whenever you have a long vowel like a waw or a ya or an alif, the letter before it should have a similar haraka in order to ease the pronunciation. You cannot say Muslimai. It will be difficult to say Muslimain. So you have to say Muslimin. Okay? Noor. When you say Noor, the noon must have a dhamma in order to come to the waw. If it has another thing, you will not be able to pronounce the waw. So we focus on the ya noon especially. Muslimin. Okay. In the Quran, we have Muslimaini only mentioned one time. And Muslimina mentioned hundreds of times. So it's important to know where Muslimaini is. And this is in Surah Al-Baqarah and the end of the first juz. The last part of the first juz. It's here. وإذ يرفع إبراهيم القواعد من البيت وإسماعيل. إذ means remember. Remember when. Ibrahim alayhi salam was raising the foundations of the house. Okay? And Ismail was helping him. Okay? So how many participants are here? Two. Ibrahim and Ismail. The beauty of the Arabic, of the Quranic order is that Ibrahim is not mentioned and then Ismail. So we do not say, وَيَرْفَعُ إِبْرَاهِيمُ وَإِسْمَاعِيلُ الْقَوَاعِدَ مِنَ الْبَيْتِ. Say, remember when Ismail and Ibrahim were raising the foundation of the house. It doesn't say this. Because if you combine the two names together, this means that they are participating equally. But having Ibrahim and then you say the foundations of the house and then you say and Ismail, this means Ismail was just helping. So it is not the same amount of effort. And the only thing that made it possible to change the places is the case. We are not afraid of any miscomprehension or confusion because we have Ibrahim with a dhamma, which means that he is the doer. Al-Bayti with a kasra, which means that it is in the indirect object. Al-Qawaida with the fatha, which is the direct object. So whenever you place them, that's okay. So if you have Ismailu at the end with a dhamma, this means still he is a doer, but he is not as important as the first doer. So if he is the doer, why didn't you mention him at the beginning? Because he is not as important. And the English tried to accommodate for this, so it said with Ismail. The fact that Ismail was with Ibrahim, not Ibrahim was with Ismail. Okay, but he means with the help of Ismail. Okay. And then they started to make a dua. ربنا تقبل منا. Ya Allah, accept from us. إنك أنت السميع العليم. You are the سميع عليم, all hearing and all knowing. ربنا وجعلنا. What is this word? Muslimaini. Ya Allah, make us two submissive. Two persons who are submissive in Islam to you. So not Muslimina, because they are only two. Two are speaking. Muslimaini laka. ومن ذريتنا أمة مسلمة لك. Okay. Make us both. So the English said both in order to try to accommodate for the dual that does not exist in English. So this is where Muslimaini is mentioned in the Quran. We'll take a break, inshallah, for 10 minutes, and then we'll come back to get more information about the dual in the Quran. Jazakumullah khair.
Jazakallah khair.
It remain in that ayah.
Mhm.
Ismail to take, for Ismail, for example.
Mm.
I mean, if I'm just reading through it, I would not be able to connect the two dots. For example, where is Yarfa Ibrahim al-Qawaid min al-Bayt? I stop. And then what Ismail? Yeah, so, I mean, to me, it would not make, I'm just saying, what is the connecting thing
Mm.
there? How do you connect that if Ismail was helping Ibrahim al-Islam?
Mhm. Yeah, so that's why the scholars of Waqf, the scholars who mark it for us where to stop, put the marker for Waqf here. So the marker for Waqf is here, which means that try not to stop anywhere before this. So try to say all of this until this part. Say وإذ يرفع إبراهيم القواعد من البيت وإسماعيل ربنا تقبل منا.
Stop it there. Okay.
So yeah, this is where you should stop. But if you are short of breath, no problem to stop at any place, but then go back 1 or 2 words and get it.
It was the India Pakistan,
In your club,
Bangladesh.
I don't know about that.
It was the India Pakistani print. You can take a print,
I know.
but you can write it nicely.
I try. I'm trying to at least now. I mean, it's never too late. Yeah. So. Yeah.
Just like Allah has given this opportunity.
Yeah, because we, in Bangladesh, your alphabets are different than the Arabic one, yeah, so Pakistan, the alphabets are the same. Except with the exception that there are Dhammas, Tafal, and, yeah, so there are less than the Arabic ones, or maybe more than the Arabic ones, because of the complication there. We use that as the writing, and that's why it's easy for me to be able to put it down.
Yeah, we got it Calcutta print. Calcutta, I don't know how it is, why it is called Calcutta print. That is mostly India, Bangladesh. We use it. It is a difference there, like Ivan, they like something. I can see that I have a paper of print.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So we are back. I think we'll need connection because we have only now 15% left. No, so we can ask the person outside. We can have. In this here. I think this is done.
That's good.
This here.
طويل ولا قصير؟
خلاص احنا حطيناها مباشرة هنا وخلاص.
في يعني نجيب بس الثاني نروح نجيب لها.
وصلناها كده. فاضل لنا نص ساعة. فما احتاج. خلاص الحمد لله. Thank you. جزاكم الله خير شيخ. We'll complete it. No, okay. Sorry, I found that we can do it here because we have only half an hour left. And then we'll continue, inshallah. So the perspective will be different.
This one of us should have come earlier for both you and
Alhamdulillah, jazakumullah khair. Alhamdulillah. So we come back to the jewel. So look at the singular and the jewel, male and female with the case. Now let's have a look at how the agreement will happen. So first, if very few observation. So if a word like rajul, what is rajul? Man. Always translate it with the definiteness of it. So rajul is a man. Okay. So now two men would be
Rajulan.
rajulani. Okay, rajulani. But if you add the alif to the lam, you will produce an lam alif. So it will be written like this. So where is the alif and noon? The noon we see the alif is now in the lab of the lam. Just once the alif comes after the lam, it turns into a lam alif. Rajulani. And the accusative would be Rajulaini. Rajulaini. Okay. So this is one thing to know about it. Now, if I would like to say two Muslim men, you start with the noun. What is men? Right. Start with the noun.
Rajula, two
رجلان مسلمان. Yeah, remember, complete agreement. So, رجلان male, مسلمان male. رجلان dual, مسلمان dual. رجلان nominative, مسلمان nominative. How do we know they are nominative? Alif and Nun. Because of Alif and Nun. Now, what happens if I say I met two Muslim men? So, two Muslim men in this sentence, I met. This would be Rajulaini. Yeah, because the case is different now. They are the object. Rajulaini and Muslim, Muslimaini. Rajulaini, Muslimaini. So Rajulani, Muslimani. Rajulaini, Muslimaini.
Sheikh, for the first line, could you put the whatever is relevant, because I'm getting a bit confused between the first line and the second line.
Yeah, Rajulani, Muslim, and Rajulaini.
So it's nominative, but it's two men.
That's right.
And the second one?
Rajulaini. Okay, so
line?
here Rajulani, Muslimani, these are two Muslim men, nominative. Rajulaini, Muslimaini, two Muslim men, accusative or genitive. And so we are adding now the adjective, and the adjective we said it has to have 100% agreement.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry, I got confused. I wasn't sure what the second line was. It's all you did was just add the adjective and put it in accordance with the. Okay.
Yes. That's it. Now, if it is bintani, two Muslim daughters or two Muslim girls. Bintani, what Muslim here would be like what? Muslimatani, Muslimatani, Bintani, Muslimatani. If it is accusative, Bintaini,
Muslimataini.
Muslimataini. Okay. Now you got it. So the adjective now will still have the agreement, but the noun has got an added thing, which is become a jewel. It has to become a jewel. If it was accusative, it has to be accusative. Now, if I would like to say two beautiful eyes. Aynani. Jamilatan. Excellent. MashaAllah. Why is it excellent? Because you kept the term marbuta, even if ayn does not have a term marbuta. So the word ayn is female, doesn't have a term marbuta. The adjective should be female, and it is not inherently female as the word ayn, so you have to get the term marbuta. Aynani jamilatani. Now accusative. عينين عينين جميلتين عينين جميلتين. Excellent. ما شاء الله. Now, if it is two big gardens, yeah, جنتان كبيرتان. Always remember, we start with the noun. The adjective will come later. I know that you will be struggling in the beginning because you are thinking in a way and then you are thinking in the other way. جنتان كبيرتان. Mhm. If it is accusative, جنتين
كبيرتين.
كبيرتين. Okay, mashallah.
Sheikh, could you please put nominative after this each of those sentences, just so that I can do a screenshot for my own notes?
Yeah, we say that if you have alif and noon, this will be accusative. If ya and noon, anything else can be. Alif and noon is a nominative, yes.
Nominative, exactly.
Nominative. While ya and noon, else. So it can be accusative, it can be genitive. It depends on where it is in the sentence, but it is not nominative. Yeah, no.
Third line is also no. There's no other. Yeah. Okay.
Just giving examples.
Mm-hmm.
One last thing to know about jewel in Arabic is when you add the word to. If you add the word to in Arabic, you are not adding it for description. You will be adding it for confirmation. So if I say طالبان اثنان, it doesn't mean two students because Taliban only means two students. So why we add اثنان? We add it for confirmation, which means no more than two students. So the English expression two and students translate only to Taliban. If you say Taliban اثنان, this is more than just saying two students, because it is enough to put the alif and nun. If we add now اثنان, this would mean no more than two, or definitely two. طالبان اثنان. And so بنتان اثنتان. ثاني اثنتان. Let's say in the Quran, we have an example of this.
Sorry, would the second word be ithnatani for the female?
Yes, that's right.
But bintan would still stay. It wouldn't be bintani.
It is bintani.
Oh, okay.
It is bintani.
I heard it wrong then.
Yeah, it is bintani because it means two daughters or two girls. Okay. So here is one example in Surah Hud. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to Sayyidina Nuh, when our command comes and the oven bursts with water, we said to Nuh, take into the ark. So the English says a pair. But in the Arabic says زوجين اثنين. So
Exactly
زوجين is enough. Yeah. But Allah says اثنين, which means don't take more than two. Don't take more than two from each thing. Only two would be enough. So زوجين means a pair. اثنين, two. So adding اثنين here is not just for number. It is an added meaning because it was enough to say زوجين, which means a pair, as the English translation says, a pair. So a pair is here. Why اثنين is mentioned? This means no more than two, or definitely or exactly two from each one, from each thing that you have, or species. زوجين اثنين. اوكي. بنتان اثنتان طالبان. One last thing about the dual is that we have sometimes a case called idafa. We refer to it here and there, and we'll talk about it in more details, inshallah. But like a heads up for it now. Idafa. Idafa is when we have case of possession. When we say something belongs to someone. If I would like to say, for example, Ahmed's book. Ahmed's book. So we have Ahmed and we have the book, but we are talking about the book. So in English, we use it in two ways, either Ahmed's book with apostrophe S or the book of Ahmed. So we either start with the possessed thing and then we use of the owner, or we start with the owner and we post apostrophe S and then the possessed thing. Ahmed's book or the book of Ahmed, right? The Arabic language just places them next to each other, starting with the possessed thing. They would say Kitabu Ahmed. Kitab Ahmed. Kitabu Ahmed. Kitabu Ahmed, which means the book of Ahmed. So Ahmed's book. Kitabu Ahmed. What happens if Ahmed has got two books, not just one book? So what is two books? Kitaban. That's right, Kitaban. And who is the owner? Ahmed. Arabic grammar says when you have this case, which is two books of a person, you have to drop the noun. And just keep the alif as a marker of the dual. Kitaba Ahmed. So this is very tricky. You have to focus on this. So here the marker for the dual is no longer the alif and nun, only the alif. Kitaba Ahmed.
But it's not lyrical. I thought in the Arabic language, when there's a vowel, you need a consonant before it. So Kitaban Ahmed would have done that, but without the noon, doesn't it make it harder? Kitaba Ahmed, like you're joining two vowels.
Kitaba Ahmed. I mean, just because the name is Ahmed, but if you change Ahmed in another person, it will be easy to pronounce, no problem. Kitaba al-Rajul, Kitaba al-Bayt, Kitaba al-Madina. So the noon, in fact, will make it difficult to pronounce Kitaban Ahmed, Kitaban al-Madina. So they drop the noon because of this case of idafa, which is possessiveness. Okay. Inshallah, we'll talk about idafa more and more in more details in other classes, but just to have a heads up of this, that sometimes the word can be dual, even if the noon is not there, but the alif is there. Kaba. Okay. We good in this. Now, do you know Surah Tabbat? What does it say at the beginning? Tabbat yada, right? Abi Lahab. So what is this yada? Two hands. Where is the noon? One hand is yad. Two hands is yadan. So where is the noon? Because it is the two hands of Abu Lahab. The two hands of Abu Lahab. This is idafa. This is possessiveness. So the noon was dropped. So the fact is that yada Abi Lahab, this is dual. If it is dual, where is the noon, the alif and noon? We have alif is enough. Why the alif is enough? Because the noon has been dropped because this is إضافة, possessiveness. Abu Lahab owns his two hands. Subhanallah. Yada Abi Lahab. And you will find this a lot in the Quran. So sometimes it will be dual even if the noon is not there. I know that, I mean, it was easy to just mark the alif and noon, and noon has got a kasra. And I was always saying, noon has got a kasra, noon has got, and now you drop the noon. Yeah, you still have the alif, alhamdulillah.
Sheikh, so just in terms of, again, back in the English language, accusative is the direct object. Here, the two hands, it's also the direct object. And
No, this is a case of possessiveness. We are
okay.
talking now, it is not a full sentence. We are not talking about a full sentence. We're making a construction of the honor of something, which is Ahmed's book or the book of Ahmed. This is not a complete sentence. This is just like a condition of possessiveness. Someone possesses another thing.
Okay. And so only for the case of idafa, you drop the
Mhm.
alif nun. There's no
You
more
drop
exceptions.
the noon. Yeah, you keep the alif, but you drop the noon. Because if you drop the alif and noon, then it is singular.
So whenever I see, like, there are some Qurans that have the red for the alif and then the rest of it is black. That's why they're doing it. They're basically trying to identify that this is a case of an idafa.
Maybe the coloring is for tajweed rules, but
Okay.
not for grammar. This is part of grammar.
Mhm.
So it depends on what mushaf you are using.
Okay.
So Kitab Ahmed, Kitab Ahmed, like Yada Abi Lahab. The same thing applies if it is in the accusative. So we have Kitab. We said that Kitab, the jewel of Kitab is Kitabani or Kitabaini. Right? Kitabani or Kitabaini. If you drop the noon here, you are left with Kitaba. If you drop the noon here, you are left with Kitabay. Kitabay. And so this is still dual because the noon is not there, but the ya sukun is there. No, yeah, not Kitabi, my book. It is Kitabay. That's why we put the sukun. The sukun is still there. Yes. So Kitab bay, while Kitab B, it has wala kasr. So you can find it in this way. If I say, we always have this example for a brother called Kareem. He had two daughters. So we say the two daughters of Kareem. So we say Binta Kareem. Yeah, and instead of Bintani Kareem, we said Binta Kareem. And for the accusative, Bintay Kareem. And we'll see examples like this in the Quran. So we have in the Quran, Jannatani in Surah Saba. Okay. In Surah Saba, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells in ayah number 15, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us about the city of Saba in Yemen, where they had two gardens. There was a sign for the tribe of Sheba, Saba, in their homeland, two orchards or two Jannah, two gardens, Jannatani, right? Jannatani. So when they denied, فأعرضوا, they turned away. فأرسلنا عليهم سيل العرم. We sent against them a devastating flood. وبدلناهم, and replaced their orchards with two others. بدلناهم جنتين. جنتين, which means two gardens. But before it, بِجَنَّتَيْهِمْ, we replaced for their two gardens, two other gardens. So the word بِجَنَّتَيْهِمْ here, بِجَنَّتَيْهِمْ looks complicated, but it is easy, inshallah. So we have this ba, which means with. So this is a proposition. Hum means there. So this is not part of the word. We are left with jannatay. Jannatay. We know that Jannah is one garden. Jannatay, this A at the end means the jewel. So this is the case of the idafa. Case of idafa, we said Ahmad's book, or the book of Ahmad, or his book. His book. Their garden. Their two gardens. So then Jannatay. So there is still jewel, but as you see, it's a jewel that has been through many changes in order to keep it easier for the pronunciation.
Sheikh,
Okay.
so the noon is dropped,
Yeah, the noon is dropped.
but
The
then
word
the him is
there. The word
there,
there.
exactly. Okay.
So him is there. So it is not part of the word. It is attached, but not part of the word. And the ba is not part of the word. It is with or for, which is a
But
proposition.
doesn't the him also represent the possessiveness?
Yes, there. That's why we said Ahmed's book, the book of
Yeah.
Ahmed, or his book.
Okay.
So
Okay.
there. Yeah, so one thing you need to get accustomed to is that a word in Arabic can have many things attached to it, but it doesn't mean that this is part of the word. In English, each word is separate. So even you say the, this is a word, and water, this is another word. In Arabic, this will be connected together. So one word can be translated into a full sentence because of the many components that are attached to the word. So you need to split. This means there, this means him, this means two, this means al, until you get the full word in the middle.
Say as much Quran, Quran,
Okay.
and then the full Quran, Quran.
Okay, that's a good question. What's your name, brother? Yahya. So in Arabic, we do not refer to the book of the Quran as Quran. We say Mus'haf. So when we say Quran, this means the one that you recite, but not the one that you hold. When you hold in your hand, this is not called the Quran, this is called the Mus'haf, which is a book of the Quran. Mus'haf. And so we make the jewel for the word Mus'haf. Mushafani. Okay? Mus'haf and Mushafani. I know that the English translation will say his Quran, but in Arabic we never say Quranuhu, because this means another Quran other than the one that was revealed to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And this is not what we mean. We just mean a copy of the Quran. So if it is a copy of the Quran, we use the word Mus'haf. Mus'haf, Mushafani, and the accusative Mushafani. And if you drop the noon, then you will say Mushafa Ahmad or Mushafay. Yeah. So you may need to review the class, inshallah. We're recording it. So review the class well, and then your homework. Yes.
Most of the definitely. So it's for the Quran. Right?
Yes, Mus'haf. Mus'haf is only used with the Quran. And we always call it al-Mus'haf al-Sharif. The honorable Mus'haf. Mus'haf al-Sharif. And no other book is called in the Arab countries Sharif except the Mus'haf. Christians, for some time, they tried to give free copies of the Bible to Muslimin, and they called it al-Injil al-Sharif. So people will just get accustomed to those. Okay, all are Sharif, but it didn't work. So your homework is find one example in the Quran of dual male nominative. Okay. Dual male nominative. Then another example of dual female nominative. Then another example of dual, yes, what do you expect? Male accusative. And then another example of dual female accusative. And then an example of dual plus adjective with full agreement. And I leave this for you, whether it is male or female, accusative or nominative, it's just to be a noun and an adjective that is dual with agreement. Also 5 examples. 1 male nominative, 1 female nominative, 1 male accusative, 1 female accusative. 1 dual plus adjective, any case, any gender, but it has to have full agreement in the Quran, inshallah. Is it clear? Do you have any questions?
No, alhamdulillah.
Jazakumullah khairan. Next week, inshallah, we'll have the class online only because I will be traveling outside of town. So we'll have the class, inshallah, in time, but in online only. And if you are available, brothers, the brothers outside need volunteers to prepare for the barbecue. So please go and help them. Assalamu alaikum.